I stand before you not today just as a TD, but as someone who is directly affected with this. This is a government-created situation because of lack of checks on quarries. If this had been done properly, we would not be facing this situation. I speak to you with the anger of a father watching my own home crumble. I speak with frustration of the people who contact me every single day, and they cannot take one more sleepless night worrying whether the bison slab over the top of their head is coming down and their kids could be injured or killed. This is happening every single day we are contacted. I will acknowledge there is small progress in the bill, but I can't pretend that it's near enough. Progress is limited. Some families will now finally receive their retrospective payment, and I recognise this, that it is needed. But let's be honest, it's a drop in the ocean of what we need. The Amendment Bill does not fix the scheme. It does not address the most dangerous failures. It does not protect the most vulnerable. It doesn't stop the trauma. It doesn't stop the injustice. A few administrative tweaks cannot disguise the fact that the scheme is fundamentally broken. The state allowed defective material to enter the market, and the families now are paying the price. Applications are not progress, they are evidence of a crisis. The government must boast about 3,000 applications as this were proof of success, but proof it is not. People are afraid to apply to the scheme because they can simply not afford it. Their homes are falling apart. They're terrified because they're currently out of options. Applications do not equal safe homes. Applications do not equal structural repairs, and applications do not equal justice. And the truth is, the scheme is dysfunctional, and even those who are accepted onto it are stuck with hundreds of thousands of euros of debt. The reality on the ground is unsafe homes and unsafe lives. Hundreds of families live in homes where the external leaf has already collapsed. They are told, unbelievably, that this is safe. They sleep under the bison slabs, like I said before, and watch as the cracks appear bigger and the wall that was once there is now powder. This is not success, this is neglect. Partial remediation is a complete failure and cannot be considered. The government TDs repeatedly described it as the biggest scheme in the history of the state, but with just over 200 applicants who have completed this, and most of them are partial remediation, and they will have to be visited in the future again at great expense to the Exchequer. Partial remediation is fiscally irresponsible, and partial remediation is a political cover-up. The state knows it, and it continues this anyway. This is not redress, it's as simple as that. It is a grant scheme. Let's call it for what it is, a grant scheme, not 100% redress. We can call a grant full expenditure coverage, but if it caps exclusion, clawbacks and hidden costs, leaves families tens and thousands of euros in debt, it's not redress. Vulnerable families and people are forced to become project managers, to find contractors, to navigate the costs, engineering disputes and manage dangerous sites, and it's simply not redress. Science has moved on, but the scheme has not. The government continues to hide behind IS 465, a standard which does not reflect scientific consensus. It misidentifies the root cause of the damage and leads engineers to recommend partial remediation, which we will have to come back to at a later date. Geological Survey of Ireland confirmed the crisis is primarily due to internal sulphate attack, not mica. Mica is not the issue here, but the state continues to train engineers in an outdated standard. Even Engineers Ireland, through its own Director General, told the Oireachtas Committee that IS 465 is simply not fit for purpose. The Housing Agency still instructs engineers to follow it. This is not a mistake. This is not a choice. A choice is to ignore the science because acknowledging it would force the government to admit the truth that the only thing that we can get out of this is full demolition is required when iron sulphate attack is happening in the building. It's a terminal decline in the building. The technical review is simply a farce. Now, the government tells families wrongly assigned partial remediation that they can request a technical review. It's a bad joke. It's an insult. It's like sending a surgeon to perform heart surgery, giving them a textbook from the 1970s, botching the operation, and then telling the patient to apply for a technical review. Crazy stuff. The burden, again, is entirely on the homeowner again. The homeowner must prove the estate was wrong again. The homeowner must wait months or years again. The scheme is self-protective, but not homeowner protective. The appeals system is independent in name only. The government claims the appeals panel is independent, but let's read a section from section 39(10)(b) of the actual Act. The appeals board may, number 1, direct the housing agency to reconsider the decision, or, number 2, replace the decision itself. That doesn't sound like independence to me. In reality, they never replace the decision. Every appeal is pushed straight back to the housing agency. The same flawed logic appears again. Homeowners wait months and years for the same outcome. This is not independence. This is a closed loop designed to protect the agency from accountability. And let me say this clearly. When I raised concerns that the chair of the housing agency wrote to me and accused me of interference for doing my job and representing my constituents, I was interfering. No. You could not design a more absurd, dysfunctional system. And I've said it before, the human costs of this scheme have been proven by research. It's not absurd, it's not decisions. These decisions are destroying lives. Ulster University research by Karen Kirby and Oisin Keenan in cases where structural collapses, uncertainty and prolonged displacement shows higher rates of depression in families, chronic anxiety, inability to actually maintain your life and go to work, increased risk of suicide, severe emotional harm to children, and long-term PTSD type symptoms. A constituent told me recently, every time the wind shakes the house, my heart stops. I lie awake wondering if it's tonight is the night that the walls come down. I don't feel safe. I feel unsafe to close my eyes. Every time I close my eyes and the wind hits against the house, I'm worried in case the house is coming down. I look across at my children. I don't know what to do. I am getting this every day. My colleagues are getting this every day. We all can understand what's going on. Pre-legislation scrutiny was waived for a reason. Pre-legislation scrutiny exists to prevent bad law, to force transparency and to assure accountability, to allow TDs, especially opposition TDs, to propose improvements before the bill is locked down. The government needed the scrutiny waived. The scrutiny would expose the flaws, the scientific inaccuracies, the human consequences of this. They delayed sending the draft bill to the Housing Committee for 5 months, and they finally circulated late on Friday evening. We had an online meeting on Monday, almost no notice, no time to review the draft, no time to consult the stakeholders, no time to prepare. The members were asked to vote by email and waive scrutiny privately with no transparency. This was deliberate, this was manipulation, and this was calculated in an effort to silence meaningful debate. Then late last night, another insult. The bill was meant to come out, but it didn't come out till this morning, 10 o'clock. And then we get a look at it. The tactic is to force TDs who cannot consult and get proper amendments done in time. We cannot analyse the way forward. We cannot prepare amendments in proper time when we're left with this. And it does expose the weakness what this scheme has caused. And it's truly meant to be the biggest scheme in the state. And it's handled with maximum transparency. Well, it's not. Instead, it's handled with maximum secrecy. The pirate remediation scheme is a blueprint deliberately ignored. Pirate scheme worked because it delivered a full state-led remediation, and it covered all the cost. It provided accommodation, it provided side-by-side building, it provided an end-to-end scheme and clear scientific standards, and an independent body that replaced decisions and not recycled them. And I have constituents, family members in Mayo and Dublin. 2 families that went through this, and in Mayo they have pyrite, and they had pyrite in Dublin. The people in Dublin got 100% redress, and the sister in Mayo did not. They're citizens of this country, they're treated differently. She says to me, why am I getting treated like a second-class citizen? And my words were to her was, I cannot answer that to you, because that's the government. Where there's 2 schemes in place, where family members, and one in Dublin, got 100% redress. In Mayo, they got nothing. Why do homeowners in the West and North West not deserve the same rights? It's the same fairness, the same clarity, the same protection. It's unequal treatment, and it's unconstitutional, as far as I'm concerned. But we saw the advice given to the Attorney-General using the existing model would be too expensive. Not including this bill, Minister Brown said his own press release would include side-by-sides. Now, I know you've addressed that today, late on, the press release at 3:30, and I understand that's coming, and that is most welcome. But we have to try and prevent homelessness. We have to protect the elderly and the disabled. We have to allow families to stay near schools, jobs and their support networks. It's essential going forward to reduce the mental health epidemic that's coming and the tsunami of homelessness. We need to speed up construction times. The government refuses to allow developers to build entire estates overnight. Well, we need to get thinking, and we need to get thinking quick, because we have tens of thousands of houses in Donegal that are going to be falling down around us in the next 5 to 10 years, and we need to act upon this. The bill does not provide upfront payments. Homeowners cannot front 40 to 100,000. Many of the homes are structurally unsafe and financially worthless. If we could put in an upfront payment, we could get people up and going and get this moving fast, but we can't at the moment. To reduce administrative costs, ensure fairness to low-income families who are trapped. But the government refuses this because upfront payments would demonstrate the true scale of the crisis, which is 20,000 plus, bare minimum. And I hate to say this because it breaks my heart to see this in all our constituencies, from Donegal to Mayo to Limerick to Clare to Sligo, and everywhere in between. It's coming. We know it's coming. The scheme forces vulnerable people to be builders, quantity surveyors, engineers and project managers. Unlike the Pirate scheme, homeowners must organise demolition, they secure contractors, manage site safety, complete paperwork, pre-fund the works themselves and negotiate disputes and handle inspections. People with disabilities, pensioners, single parents, people in crisis. This is not redress. It's simple abandonment. They don't have the skill level to do it. It takes a certain skill level to be a builder, to be a contractor. As Richard will tell you, it's a skill level that not a lot of people have. I have it. Richard has it. I have done this before. I know what it takes to build a house, and it is a skill that is beyond most people. The Defective Concrete Act bill now needs to be amended, as far as I'm concerned. Partial remediation costs more in the long run. Repeat appeals drain resources. Training engineers and an outsourced science is simply wasteful. Housing agency mismanagement is an increase in liability. Legal exposure is growing. I keep on saying this. Mishandling of this whole scheme. Breaches in human rights, Articles 40 and 43, breaches in the EU Charter, breaches in the quality of law. The longer this goes on, the more it's going to cost, not less. We have a government that claims that they're the opposite of what is really actually going on the ground, and it's so frustrating. They have many claims that this scheme has worked, but it hasn't worked. And this crisis is catastrophic, and it's not going to go away, simply not going to go away. 100% grant coverage false, caps exclusions of families, tens of thousands are left short, independence appeals are false, appeals are recycled back to the housing agency. We are following the science, false. IS 465 is an outdated and contradicted by geological surveys that it simply isn't fit for purpose, and we've been told this time and time again. We need to start following the science. This is the biggest scheme in the state, the government say. Then why is it handled with secrecy, last-minute drafts, hidden votes and rushed legislation? We need a clear, purposed, forward, straight-talking way of going forward, where the truth has to prevail and people have to be held accountable that have let this happen to us. Conclusion. Failure. The amendment bill does not fix the scheme. It does not deliver justice. It does not meet scientific standards. It does not provide equality. It does not provide full redress. It does not prevent legal challenges. And it does not address the core value. The government had the opportunity and chose to minimise it. Families do not need spin. They need safety. They need certainty. They need equality. They need truth. They need homes. I will continue to fight for the homes and for the families. And I'm just going to take an example of my own life and what's going on with me. I went out on Saturday night with my son. I had a GoPro on my head, recording, putting up the Christmas lights, a memory that he will have for the rest of his life. I stood up on a ladder and looked in and seen the cracks on the wall. When I appeared in, there was no wall left, and that child was there underneath me, and he sleeps in a room that I covered that up. I am asking you, and I'm demanding that you do this, and you help the people all over Donegal, all over Mayo, all over Limerick, all over Clare, anywhere that says we need to address this and we need to do it now. Time is running out. We don't have another 14 years. We've been here for 14 years. It's time we acted, and it's time we acted now.